Okay. Good afternoon. Let's start right away with just settling in, taking a big breath to welcome that breath in our lungs. Let it go, arrive. Take any natural stretches your body might want to do as we get into our comfortable seats here. Just checking out what the body is feeling like, and if maybe the spine is asking for something, or the sides, the arms, the legs, the neck and head, and just giving yourself some free movement here as we come into our seat and settle in. Maybe a little wiggle, and then bringing ourselves into stillness. If we get some of that movement out, and then giving ourselves that contrast with the stillness, bringing our attention inside of our body and down to our seat, maybe even imagining an anchor for a ship, and as if we were to drop an anchor down through the center of our body, down through the seat, down into the earth, and letting that just hold us here, finding that center point. And then throughout our practice, we can come back to that. And that's kind of our balance always, is a return to center. We might even play with that for a moment and allow ourselves to sway side to side, forward and back, circling, and just noticing that center point that we come back to, around, over, and across. Imagining you have that anchor there that you're moored to, holding you down, giving you this room to roam and this place to return, that home. And again, coming to our stillness and our center. Noticing your breath, watching it, expanding it if you feel like expanding it, taking a big breath in and sighing it out. Maybe some audible sighs, grounding ourselves with those vibrations of that sound. Let's take a big inhale, opening our arms up wide, expanding the chest, backs of the shoulder blades drawing together a little bit. And exhaling, we'll round, bringing the arms in, maybe hugging ourselves. Inhaling, open. And exhaling, rounding. One more big breath like that. And then back to our stillness. Our hands might rest on the lap, or maybe palms are together at heart center. Finding our stillness again. Today, the theme that I'm playing with is this idea of wantlessness, or satisfaction, fullness, a place where it's absent of further desire. It's another form of just being in the here and now, letting this here and now be enough, being sufficient. I think it's so much our biological, evolutionary, bodily training to be looking towards the next thing, the planning, the preparation, the movement, the worry that can come with that too, and the stress that is biologically advantageous. It keeps us moving and on our toes, but there's something to be said for just being in this here and now. So coming to your here and now and being present with what's here. Noticing what's here in the body, and in the mind, and in the heart. What's here with our energy, what's here with our surroundings. And I recently read a little excerpt from Eckhart Tolle, and he was speaking of how we often have the difference between our life and our life situation and then our actual life. And so in our life situation, it's like all of the problems that we might be going through, this whole situation that we often just refer to as life. This is my life, what all that might entail. But really, that's your life situation, and your life, your actual life, is your participation. So we can take that in our here and now, and as we might in moments feel overwhelmed with the problems, our context, what's going on, letting that sit as the life situation and coming as close as you can to your here and now, and what's in this moment, and is this moment okay, and finding even that most minuscule okayness that can be just right now, in this here and this now. So being in your right now, this here and now, your life participation, letting it just be present, letting yourself be present. Holding acceptance and compassion for whatever is in this experience of this here and now. Sometimes our bodies experience our aches and pains, and we can have a negative reaction with that, a negative relationship or thoughts around that. But seeing if we can build some acceptance and compassion towards those experiences is kind of the natural result of many other natural results of things that have come. So can we have compassion with that? Just be with it here and now. Tuning back in with our breath, inhaling full, exhaling full, inhaling, maybe inhaling even gratitude for this breath, and exhaling gratitude for that release. 2 more big breaths. And we'll take 3 ohms. So inhaling for om. 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 As we take these next few moments before we move into our movement, maybe seeing if there is something in particular that we might hold compassion with today or in this practice. Compassion, acceptance, then just a starting point of witnessing and kind of an openness to letting something be as it is, not asking it to change. And maybe that will unfold over the course of our practice. What can I just be with instead of asking to change? What can I hold that space of compassion for? Inwardly, outwardly. And letting that go, awakening the eyes. let's go ahead and start out seated and with our right leg out long, bringing the left foot in towards the body. Feel free to bring a blanket or pillow under that bent knee if that's supportive, and this bent leg just however far in it wants to go. Can pull the flesh out from under the seat, back behind you, sitting up tall, turning to face that long leg, and then we'll fold over the hips. So inhaling, fold, and exhale, fold forward at the hips towards that long leg. Just letting ourselves be loose here, full of observation, just seeing what we see here, witnesses to our own experience and body, to the mind and thoughts, to everything that comes up. And then let's walk ourselves back up. Turn back towards the center between the legs. We'll plant the right arm, inhale the left arm up high. And then exhale, we're going to tip over towards the right. So tipping in the direct same side of the long leg. And we're going to invite that left hip to stay tacked down so we can stretch two directions here through that side body, maybe opening the chest up towards the sky. And that hand resting on the ground can be however close in or far away from the body it wants to be. You might play with bending and straightening the elbows, allowing there to be fluidity in this place. And we'll inhale through center, arm up. Exhale, release that arm back down to the ground. Inhale, full here, centered. Exhale, twist left. So the direction of that bent knee. Again, we're just exploratory witnesses here, seeing what's in this ocean of experience, this direction. Not needing to direct ourselves to any particular place or sensation, but just being with what is here. And inhaling back through center. Exhale, let it go. And we'll switch sides. So sending the left leg out long, drawing the right foot in, being present just first with what comes up as we move into this shape if we want some support under that bent knee. Again, we can move the flesh out from underneath the sit bones, turn to face that long leg, inhale, fold. And exhale, fold forward towards that leg. Not needing to go any particular distance, just being here. Arms on the leg, arms on the floor. Maybe the fingertips stretch out and see how far towards my foot can they go. Or maybe we just keep them in closer towards the body. Notice where all through the spine we might expand and experience our stretch. Noticing all the way in the tailbone, all the way down the leg, ankle, foot, even the toes can be having an experience here. And then let's walk the hands back in, upper body lifts again, turning back towards center. And again, we'll plant that left hand down alongside the left. Inhale the right arm up high. And exhale, we'll tip over towards the right, over to the left. So tipping the same direction as that long leg. Tacking down the right hip. So we're stretching in two directions through our side body, chest opening towards the sky. Play with that bending and straightening of the elbow again, the placement of the hand. Room to just be with your experience and continue experiencing experiences. And we'll inhale through center. Exhale, top hand down. Full breath in. Exhale, twist right. Fingertips can plant on the floor. And with that pressure, we get a little leverage. We can deepen our twist. Maybe the right foot presses in against the long leg and we get a little more leverage there, a little extra stretch through the thigh. And inhaling back through center. And exhale, let it go. Let's roll out our shoulders. We can take both legs long out in front of us and wide into a V shape. Rolling the shoulders, a little sway through the spine. Inhaling full, sitting up straight. And exhale, fold forward between the legs. Just noticing what you notice here. Maybe you are steady and still, hanging out in your fullest extension for this moment, or maybe you have a little bounce and a little movement here, just lightly. Again, taking your awareness throughout your body and noticing what the different places within you are experiencing. Audible exhales, perhaps. And then we'll walk the hands in, coming back upright. Let's draw the legs up so feet rest on the floor. Knees are bent. We can bring the hands just behind the hips for a little extra support here and a slight balance, and we'll windshield wiper the legs side to side. You might take feet a little wide. And loosen up our hips. And then we'll come back to center and release the back down to the floor. Head coming to rest. Finding what this shape holds for you just as you rest the back on the floor. Then let's hug the knees into the chest. Give a little rock side to side, greeting the floor with our back body. And we'll center the feet back on the floor and do a little rolling now, forward and back, head to tail. So feet might be up high in the sky, or maybe you keep the knees bent and keep yourself in more of an egg shape. Rolling along the spine. And then we'll come to rest, feet on the floor again, back on the floor, knees bent. And we'll place arms alongside the body here, press the feet actively in the floor, and just notice first what changes for you just by that active pressing of the feet. What changes through the legs, through the low back. We'll actively press the feet and then inhale, lift the tail, low back, coming up to our bridge, resting on the shoulder blades. And then with your next exhale, we'll roll back down to the floor, untucking shoulder blades if those drew underneath, lowering the whole spine down, tucking the tail as you arrive. And then we'll draw both knees into the chest. Lift the feet up towards the sky. And then you can just be with this here, maybe bringing hands towards the back of the thighs, hugging those in, or reaching hands up towards the feet. Seeing what this has for you. And again, we can explore that rolling motion of the spine, inviting the hips back up towards the head, maybe just an inch or so lifting off the floor. We can also explore what happens when we change the orientation of our toes. So inviting the toes back in towards the shins and then stretching them out long away from the knees. So many different dimensions and ways we can explore this shape and this stretch. And then we'll bring both legs down, bending the knees, feet on the floor. Do another windshield wiper side to side. Centering the knees, centering the legs. We'll send the left leg long down on the floor if that remains comfortable. If not, you're welcome to bend that knee again. We'll hug the right knee into the chest. And then with your exhale, send that foot up towards the sky. So right foot up towards the sky. Hands can come to hold the thigh here. And again, we can play with that gentle drawing of the leg in towards the chest. We can explore our inward and outward rotation of the foot. So directing toes, knee, hip, all inward to our left, all outward to the right. Just seeing what those different directions have for us in this place. And then we'll take an outward rotation of that foot. So toes, knees, hips, as if they're all turning as one towards the outside of the body, hugging that thigh in as much as is comfortable or we can. That feels still good towards the body. And then we'll send that leg out to the side. And maybe we just go a few inches, maybe we go fairly far. And it's two different directions we're moving here. We're moving outward, and then we're also inviting that leg kind of upwards towards the head or the ear. And we can explore both of those directions dynamically, one at a time, both at once. And then at the same time, we're inviting the left leg, that long lower leg, to stay rooted down on the floor. Maybe the left hand comes to rest on the thigh or the hip as a reminder to stay rooted. There's no final destination here we need to get to with this leg. We're just taking it through this motion, this shape, this new plane. Exploring that wantlessness place of just being present with this experience now, even if in its dynamic, changing states, being with those experiences. And if we experience something that our body invites us to change immediately, listening to that. One more breath on this side. And then we'll inhale that leg back up through center. And then we'll take an inward rotation. So toes, knee, hip, all orienting towards the center of the body. And then we can, still hugging that knee in with the hands, maybe take that foot over just a couple inches, maybe just an inch, and experiencing what we experience over here. And you're welcome to stay with just that initial leaning into the left, or maybe you want to keep exploring that plane, and so you can keep taking that leg over to the left as far as you wish to go. And again, you have those various dimensions you can work with of crossing over the left and then also inviting that leg back up in the direction towards the head and ears. And there being just so much plenty of sensation that we can experience here. And feeling free to bend that knee as much as we need to as well. And let's do one more breath over on this side. And then inhale ourselves up through center. Go ahead and bend that knee, hug that leg back in towards the center. Maybe roll the ankle out a little bit. And then let that leg go long. Both legs long on the ground, noticing what you notice between the two sides, maybe doing a little swishing from hips to toes of the legs against the floor, or bending of the knees and letting the legs come back down on the floor. Whatever helps let go of that deep stretching we were just doing. some stillness. Rejoicing for that stillness, and then inhaling the left knee in towards the chest. And that initial hugging in. And then we'll straighten that foot up towards the sky, as straight as that leg wants to go. The knee can stay however bent it wants to be. And then our initial play here, where we can see kind of what's our range of motion here with just in this right now, where that leg wants to go as we invite it closer in towards the chest. What happens when we gas pedal the toes or draw them back in towards the shin? What happens in my internal and external rotation left and right? Whew. Giving big breaths when we need to. It can help us move through some of those big sensations we might experience with these tighter places that we might discover. Seeing if that breath can invite a little softness, loosening, lightness. Coming back to that experience of compassionate witnessing. And we'll take an external rotation, so toes, knees, hips all going towards the outside direction to the left. And then we'll slowly invite that foot out to the left and back up towards the head. And letting that left hand support that leg. The right hand can too if it likes, or maybe it will stay rooted onto the floor for balance, or resting on that lower resting leg or hip. And again, that long lower leg can be flat on the floor. If it's helpful, you can bend the knee and just have the foot down. Explore what supports you best in this moment. And you can always just take your awareness through different places in the body and see what different body parts are experiencing in this moment, in this place. There's always plenty to witness. No need to be bored with anything. And then we'll inhale back up towards center. And we'll take an inward rotation, toes, knees, hips. And then let that leg cross over the body, even just an inch. Supporting it with the hand. Bending the knee if necessary. Seeing how straight we can comfortably enough be here. And then again, you can stay in wherever this first position is that you've found. If you want to keep exploring and see what's next, you can continue to travel that leg across the body towards the other side, maybe up towards the head a little bit. Maybe you deepen into that inward rotation again. Maybe you just explore, what if I could imagine sending breath into the parts of the body where I'm experiencing the highest sensation, that highest concentration of feelings? What if that part of my body was the part that was breathing? And just imagining that we could feel the breath there, seeing what that imagination experience does for you. Let's take 2 more breaths on this side. And then inhale our way back up. Exhale, bending the knee, hugging that leg once more into the body. And exhale, sending it out long, both legs long on the floor. Maybe some swishing again of the legs on the floor. Bending of the knees. Some stillness and just noticing what we notice now between the two sides. Well, between the top body and the top half and the bottom half. And let's touch in with those bridges again. So bending both knees, feet planting on the floor. And again, seeing what happens just with that initial initiation of pressure of the feet on the floor. What happens to the hips and the low back just in pressing the feet. And then inviting that lifting, coming up into your bridge. Hips lift, low back, maybe some of that upper back. We might invite the shoulder blades to draw in together. Actively pressing the feet into the floor again, seeing what happens, how much lift can we get, where all are we experiencing the stretch. And then lowering the body back down, shoulder blades untuck, spine comes to rest on the floor, tucking the tailbone. And then an option as we come through this next bridge would be lifting the arms in conjunction with the back body. So as we press the feet on the floor, inhaling, the low back begins to lift. And if you wish, lifting the arms too. And we'll inviting the backs of the hands to come and rest on the floor behind the head or just wherever in that arch they want to go. And then we'll exhale, reverse the motion. Arms come back overhead and back to rest on the floor. And the back body comes to rest on the floor as well. Then we'll flow through that a few times. You might see if you can time it. So the arms and the tailbone lift and touch down at the same point. Or reach their ending at the same time. You feel free to flow at your own pace. Incorporate the arms or just leave them behind. Remain at the top of the bridge or continue with these rolling dynamic bridges. Feeling the freedom to design and cultivate your own experience. And then I'll be doing one more of these. If you're flowing with me, just one more big full breath in. And out. As we come to rest back on the floor, let's hug those knees into the body again. A little rock side to side. Rock forward and back on the spine again. And letting the spine come to rest on the ground. Hug the knees into the chest again. And then exhale, feet up towards the sky once more, coming back to this shape that we touched in with earlier. Again, we can be steady here, just reaching hands up towards the toes and inviting the toes backwards towards the head or the floor behind the head. We can rock with this motion or just be slow and steady. Arms and legs both reaching up towards the sky. Seeing if you can grow from the hips up towards the feet, growing out of the hips, that is. And then let's roll it all back down to the floor, feet on the floor, knees bent. One more bridge here, inhaling up. Exhaling, rolling down. And we'll touch in with our back bend. So inhale, arms up and behind the head, bringing the palms to rest on the floor, back to the sides of the ears, maybe just behind them. And giving ourselves a moment just to touch in with this shape before we try to lift into a back bend or anything, just noticing how we feel just in this shape with the arms, the hands pressing into the floor actively. And then what about when they're just passively resting there? What changes through the body as we engage? And then we'll press the hands into the floor, press the feet into the floor, and feel that lightness through the back body. And then if you want to continue with that, invite the hips up towards the sky. Maybe we just come into a bridge as we've been doing. If you want to keep going, continue to actively press more and more into the hands and the feet, inviting the shoulders up off the ground and the head. And maybe just the top of the head comes to rest, trying to be gentle, taking most of the weight into hands and feet so we're not straining the neck. Or maybe we press super actively and the whole head and back body lift up off the floor. Being wherever you are in this journey. When you're ready, lowering back down, gaze back up towards the sky so we can rest the back of the head on the floor, shoulders come to rest, the back body, spine comes to rest, hands can release back down towards the hips. Let's windshield wiper it out side to side. Get as deep into that spine as you need to. And centering the body once more. We'll get into that back bend one more time. Inviting arms up overhead, palm of hands to the floor around the ears, and pressing actively hands and feet. And with that active pressing, the natural lifting, which we can then aid with our will and intention, lifting the hips up, the back. And then if we wish, and the body agrees, shoulders and head coming up. Experiencing your change of perspective. And noticing as you maybe go in and out of how actively you press hands into the floor, that changing experience of the stretch behind the shoulder blades, throughout the spine. And then again, when you're ready, coming back on down, bending the knees, lowering the back of head to the floor, rolling shoulder blades and the spine down, releasing the hands back alongside the body. And then let's invite the knees back in towards the chest, another little rock side to side. I like to picture myself as a hard-boiled egg rolling around on the countertop. And then centering, let's roll forward and back. Being as big in this motion as we can, and we'll roll ourselves up to a seated position. And come on to our hands and knees. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Checking in with our cat-cows, dropping the tummy, looking forward on that inhale. And exhale, rounding the spine, the gaze goes back towards the belly button. Inhaling, dropping that tummy. Broadening the chest between the shoulders. Exhale, round. Inhale, gaze forward. And exhale, round. And continuing at your pace, taking some cat-cows side to side. Going in a little circle here. Left to right, forward and back. Seeing if you can allow this breath to move the body, not worrying too much about where the inhales and exhales pair with as far as left, right, forward, back, up and down, but just breathing and allowing the body to flow in a circle. And reversing that circle. And then let's center our body, finding our neutral shape. As we do, draw the navel up and imagining the back is parallel with the earth. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but aiming for that engagement as if we're inviting the navel up towards the spine, finding this active, light work here. And then we'll tuck the toes, bend the elbows, and with our exhale, send our hips up and back. And go ahead and pedal out your downward dog. Adjust your stride if necessary. Maybe hands want to walk a little farther forward or feet backwards to make it a little longer. Maybe you want to be a little shorter. And just checking in with each leg as you straighten one leg and bend the opposite knee, how that feels to invite the heels towards the ground, what it feels like to invite both heels towards the ground at the same time. Body might say, no, thank you. We can just see what's there in that experience for us right now. And then let's shift our weight forward. So shoulders come back over wrists, slight bend in the elbows here, engaging that navel again, drawing it up towards the spine, breathing here. Gaze maybe a foot or so out in front of the hands, feeling your own inner strength here. Inhale full. Exhale, lower halfway down and release the knees and tuck the toes. Lower the chest all the way down. And then we'll press hands into the floor. Inhale the chest up and continue breathing here. Draw shoulder blades together and down the back body, broadening the chest. And again, looking for what experiences, what things we might have compassion for in this moment. We're in an open heart posture. Where can we invite a bigger, more open heart? Inwards, outwards. We just remember what compassion feels like and immerse ourselves in that sensation of compassion. Can we just experience compassion even without the stimulus of what we're feeling compassionate about? One more big inhale here. And then tuck your toes, exhale, hips up and back again, back to that downward dog, pedaling it out. And then go ahead, plant the left heel, inhale the right foot up and back, bend that knee, opening that hip up. And drawing circles with the knee. And reversing those circles. And then sending that foot as far back as it can go. Inhale full. Exhale, go ahead and step that foot as far forward as you can make it. Aiming to bring that foot up towards the hands, hands towards the foot. So the hands might walk backwards towards that foot. The back foot might bump out. And then we're going to press both feet actively in the floor and inhale, rise with the upper body as best we can, coming into warrior shape. You can keep All toes facing forward to begin with, that back heel lifted, bending our front knee and finding a little bit of a floating sensation here. You might bounce that back foot up and down, that heel sinking into the hips. Can inhale, drawing the shoulders up, and exhale, settle them down the back body and expanding the chest here. And then we'll plant the back foot and pivot the toes so they're out towards the corner of the mat. Again, settle the hips. Inhale, both arms up towards the sky. Exhale, drop the shoulder blades down. Elbows can come to bend out in front. Inhale, full. And exhale, open the arms parallel with the floor here. Inhale, reaching the front arm forward. And then exhale, tip it all back, reversing your warrior. This shape is known sometimes as peaceful warrior. So embodying in this moment our own experience of peace or grace, compassion, presence with. We'll inhale back through center and exhale, settle the arms. They're coming to rest on the surface of the water, just floating here parallel with the earth. Inhale, full. Exhale, we'll drop the front arm, lift the back arm, open our side body here. Maybe active through both feet, pressing down. Inhale back through center, coming back to this warrior, back to those floating arms, imagining the support of water that they might rest, experiencing that surface tension. Inhaling both arms up high to the sky. And exhale, bending forward, swinging both arms down towards the ground and then maybe back behind you. Gaze out a few feet in front of the front foot. Again, opening that chest, drawing the shoulder blades back behind you. Actively pressing down through both feet, and through that pressing down, having the strength to rise up and be here. Inhale, arms rise up. And exhale, release both arms down to the earth, down to the sides. Inhale, full. Exhale, step the back foot forward, both feet to stand together. And settle here, arrive, give yourself a breath. And we'll inhale, arms up high towards the sky again. And exhale, fold forward. Hang out in this hold or fold. Keep breathing, bend the knees. Maybe a little sway side to side. And then we'll bring both hands down to the earth, so deep bend in the knees. Inhale, step the left leg back long. Hold the breath, right leg to match that plank pose, drawing the navel up. And exhale, we'll lower down, knees and tuck the toes, chest, chin. Inhale, the chest lifts. And again, we're gonna breathe here, be here for a few moments. Inviting that open chest, shoulder blades drawing back together. And you might explore where all you might experience this bend through the back, whether you keep most of that belly and the lower ribs down on the ground, and you really emphasize this bend up in the uppermost part of the spine, the shoulders and neck. Or if you want to invite that bend a little lower through the spine, actively more pressing that belly against the earth, lifting the spine, but not needing to use our hands to press the weight into the floor, but seeing if we can just do that through our breath. One more breath here. And releasing back down to the earth, tuck the toes. Exhale, press hips up and back to the sky. Checking back in with our downward dog, bending one knee, straightening the other, adjusting the stride if necessary. Seeing where either leg on its own and both heels together might feel, making their way down towards your mat or the floor. And all the while trying to send those hips back in space as if you wanted to touch the wall behind you. And then we'll send the right heel down to the earth and exhale the left foot up towards the sky as far back as you can take those toes. And then bend the knee, opening the hips. And as you're ready, drawing circles with that knee. Circle-ish shapes. Probably not perfect compass circles. And reversing our circles, our semicircles. And then once more, we'll send that foot as far back in space as it can go. And with your exhale, step it as far forward as you can go. And then once more, working that foot up towards the hands and the hands back towards that foot. The back foot can bump back if necessary, coming into this low lunge shape. And that back foot will have the heel elevated, just the toes on the floor. And then take our awareness deep into both feet, really pressing both feet into the floor. And then again, as we do that pressing, we can release the weight from the hands and feel kind of that teeter-totter spring. So your next inhale, we're going to rise. And inhaling, rise. Upper body, arms up towards the sky. And then settling into our high lunge on this side. Bending that front knee. Maybe coming to bounce in and out of that with that back heel, lifting and lowering, settling the hips towards the earth, not needing to worry about our arms. And then we'll inhale both arms up high. Exhale, plant that back foot, pivoting those toes out to the side. And we'll drop the arms down, bending the elbows. Inhale, full. And exhale, open, arms out wide, parallel with the floor. Checking in with your stance, looking to have heels in line with one another as if they were on one line together in even plane. Imagining the support of water tension here for the arms as if they're floating. And we'll look towards that front hand. Inhale, stretching it out far, flipping the palm up towards the sky, and exhale, tip it all back, trying to keep the lower half in the same position, just moving through this upper body, opening up the side body. Gaze might be skyward, and seeing where we can find softness in this shape, where we can find some sort of release, some sort of gentleness, that peaceful warrior. Where you can have this very active, still strong position and work that we're taking, but we can find some sort of gentleness at the same time. We'll inhale back through center, arms parallel with the floor. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, we'll tip forward, front arm coming down towards that front thigh, back arm lifts up towards the sky. Chest opens. Seeing if we can really stretch long through that right side body, actively pressing the foot into the floor and reaching the top arm out long and away. Maybe imagining you could touch the two opposite walls within your room with the leg, with the foot and the hand. We'll inhale back through center. Exhale, resting the arms. Inhale, both arms up, turn to face that front leg. And exhale, tip forward towards that bent leg. Arms swing back behind the body. Chest opens. Actively engaging through both feet. Your rootedness giving you your strength. Inhale back through center, arms rise. And exhale, release the arms, step the back foot forward, back to your mountain pose. A breath here. Inhale, arms rise up. And exhale, fold forward. Go ahead and bend the knees a little bit, walking the fingertips forward. They might be up in the air. Maybe the fingertips are down on the floor. Wherever they are, we're actively sending our hips back as we take the hands forward. And then see if you can invite softness through the neck. And then release all that effort, just hanging loose. Audible sigh. We'll bring both hands down to the floor again, deep bend in the knees. Inhale, one leg back. Exhale, the other to match. Keep breathing here as you find your long plank pose. Slight bend in the elbows, engaging that navel up. Finding your strong core. Finding your center gaze. Inhale, full. Exhale, send the hips back and up to that downward dog. And again, adjusting your stride as you arrive. If necessary, if it needs to shorten or lengthen. And then shift the weight back forward again, shoulders over wrists. We're going to release the knees down to the floor, untuck the toes, and then exhale, send hips towards the feet. Arms long out in front, chest coming down towards the thighs, maybe down towards the earth. You might take the knees a little bit wider here, making a little more space for the chest if it wants to lower even deeper. If there's any discomfort through the knees, you can always bring a little cushion between the thigh and the calves. Blanket or pillow can help soften that experience. Let's take one more breath down here. And then inhale, back up to all fours, adjusting your stride. So wrists come under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale, drop the tummy, gazes forward. And exhale, round. Inhale, dropping the tummy. And exhale, round. Inhale, dropping the tummy. Exhale, we're going to round and send the hips back towards the heels again. Maybe just the fingertips tent up long here. And then we're going to release, coming to sit on the heels, drawing the shoulders back. And then make our way onto a seat on the floor. And then coming all the way onto our backs. So just transitioning through that, rolling down onto our backs, hugging knees into the chest, giving a rock side to side. Being fully in this moment, noticing your experience of the sensation of the ground against your body. And then we'll send both legs long on the floor and take the arms back behind the head as much as that might be comfortable. Maybe hands come all the way back to meet the floor behind you and stretching out long, toes to hands, as long as you can make your body. And then exhale, let go of that work. We're going to bring hands back down alongside the body, hug the right knee in towards the chest. Have a little ankle roll here. Maybe some audible exhales. Continue moving things through the body, letting go. Letting go of some of that work that we did through the belly, the core. And then we'll release that leg down to the earth, both legs long. And then inhale the left leg in towards the chest. Roll this ankle. Some more big breaths. And then we'll take both legs long. Any last wiggles in the body, maybe sending legs side to side, rolling out wrists and fingers, or any last bigger movements your body might be asking for before we move into Shavasana, our final resting pose for this practice today. Eventually, whenever you're taking the time to do whatever last postures that your body might be asking for, then whenever you're ready, joining us in bringing the body into stillness. Noticing again the connection with the body, with the earth beneath you. Big full breath in, expanding the lungs and the belly. And exhaling, letting them go. We can take our awareness up into the crown of the head. And then slowly trace our awareness down through the back body. So starting down through the head, the crown, noticing those places of pressure against the earth and the places of lightness. Down through the neck, down to the shoulders, down the arms, to hands and fingers, and back up the arms to the shoulders. Taking our awareness down the back body, shoulder blades, spine, all the space from our center to our sides. Down to the hips, the buttocks, and down the backs of the legs, the knees, calves and ankles, heels. And taking your awareness up the soles of the feet to the toes, maybe even between your toes, as if you were to try tracing them with the tiniest pencil. And up the tops of the feet to your ankles, shins, knees, thighs, hips, belly, chest, collarbone, shoulders, tops of the arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, thumb, fingers, palms, wrist, forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, collarbone, throat, inside and outside, tongue, teeth, gums, lips, chin, cheeks, space between the lips and nose, the nose, right nostril, left nostril, eyes, space between the eyes, forehead, crown of head, ears, noticing the whole of your body. Noticing the whole of your body with the assistance of the ground beneath you and the air above you, any clothing, all of these external feedbacks that are giving you additional awareness of your body's presence and sensation. Noticing the inside of your body, farther from those external feedbacks. Noticing your whole body inside to outside. And coming to rest with your breath in your own place of stillness. Coming back to your own innermost anchor, innermost self. This simple presence of being. The simple experience of this now. This here. This. Breathing back into your body. The expansion of the inhale, letting go of the exhale. And with each breath, imagining with the inhale starting at the core of your body and expanding out to your outermost edges, feeling that fullness like an expanded balloon. And then with your exhale, drawing your awareness back inward, back into that core. So breathing yourself back into that full awareness, inhaling all the way to your peripheries and beyond. And exhaling, collapsing back to center, a reverse big bang, back to that most inner being. Inhaling, receiving that fullness. Exhaling, back to center. Inviting movement back into the body, wiggling of fingers and toes, stretching out of limbs, little swishing side to side. As you're ready, you might roll over to one side. If you prefer to just stay in Shavasana, you're welcome to just stay there. Eyes rolling into onto your side. And then eventually, when you're ready, coming up to a seat. And we'll close our practice today with our closing peace song. The words are Om Shanti 3 times, which is peace in Sanskrit. Om and peace 3 times in English. Hands might come to heart center, palms together. And we'll inhale full here as we prepare for that. Exhale, let it go. Inhale for Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Taking this final moment to come back to that experience of compassion or of gratitude, or of the simple presence of being in this here and now. A single second, perhaps, of wantlessness. Thank you for practicing with me today. It is beautiful to practice with you together. Namaste.